There you go.
What up, though? It's your boy Willie Styles in the building. This is the GFT Radio Show. It is Monday, March the 8th, and man, why do I feel like it's April or something? I don't know. I'm like all thrown off. Like February flew by, but I'm trying to get rid of March all of a sudden. But probably because
nobody wants March to be here, because last time March came around was some bullshit.
True.
So we need March to skip on by, get to April. Let's figure it out. Like, we don't even need March no more.
I'm with that. Everybody else want to say hello?
What's going on, good people? You already know it's your boy Smooth. Have a great show tonight.
Hola.
All right, Tony.
How everybody doing? Ansar the Unlikely Connects.
No doubt. All right, so we are a full team tonight, and then we also have a guest on. So he is the man of the hour, or the hour and a half, and
or two.
We're going to be doing a basically an interview, and chopping it up, getting some good information from this brother. He's been through a lot in his life, and he's going to share with all of us, how he evolved from the young man that I knew him as. We're going to talk about that, and to the man he is today, and everything in between. So, definitely give it up for Ansar ThaAnswer, and I guess basically let's just get down to it. I mean, we got an hour and a half. I want to get as much time in with him because I watched a previous interview he did on another podcast. Shout out to the nephews on your auntie's favorite podcast. I think that's
your auntie's favorite nephews. Yeah.
Your auntie's favorite nephews podcast. There you go. Thank you. And I watched that, and so many gems was dropped. So I definitely want the same kind of energy, the same kind of vibe here, and definitely have the team basically give Ansar questions, and have you kind of walk us through how you just evolved from just or how you became the man you are today. Through all the trials and tribulations, ups and downs, that kind of thing. So, let's get to it. So, first off, I definitely want to talk about the beginning, right? Let's go back to us being kids. As some of you know that are watching, Dame and I grew up together as kids when we were growing up on the west side of Detroit. And Ansar actually happens to be another one of the kids from our block. So he actually grew up with us, and a little bit younger, but still was one of the kind of the core group of kids on our block. And so we got fond memories. We got crazy memories.
He had the biggest driveway, of course. All the kids had their bikes in his driveway and some. Come on.
House, he lived in the most different house in our whole block. Like everybody had houses that were set up normal. He had the biggest lot on the whole block. Big giant ass driveway. We didn't know what to think, man. We didn't know what this kid was doing. He had, him and his mom, they was cool, but it was like, man, like we could park trucks on that driveway, everything.
Dude, when it came to cutting the grass, I'm like, all right, man, I gotta go.
He's like,
I remember those days too. He told me to come help him on Monday. Come Wednesday for my grass. He got some basketball practice he got to get to.
So I want you to take us back to your life as a kid, growing up. We all kind of grew up in the same hood, growing up on the west side of Detroit. What shaped you as a kid? Tell us about that. Let's get started with that.
I mean, I think it was a few things that shaped me as a kid when we was growing up over there on the west side. Surprisingly so, I don't think I had a very rough upbringing. I really wasn't unique in the fact that, I grew up in a single mother home. My mother and my father divorced when I was 3. I come from a very strong background with family. I still have my uncles. So even though my father wasn't there for a majority of my life, my uncles were there. So I had a strong male influence. I had positive friends in Dame and Will and Kevin, David across the street. We had Jermaine and Ezekiel down the street. So my core network of friends when I first got off the porch on that street were very positive role models and influences. However, there was a negative influence in that as well. If you go a little further down the street, or if you go.
All right, let's go back to where you were. Go ahead. Answer.
I'm sorry about that. I don't know what happened on my end, but yeah, like I said, you just go a little further down. You can find the crowd that necessarily weren't doing what they were supposed to do. Unfortunately, in that mind state as I was as a child, that was more appealing and attractive to me.
Walk us through what changed in your environment that made you decide that you wanted to kind of, like you said, you didn't have the hardest life, and you said you did have some influences that were probably not the best, but what was it that was your motivation in terms of allowing that bad influence to kind of seep in?
It's hard to say what that particular moment was. I think I just got to the point to where I just really wanted to do what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. I just thought I was grown, as most kids do in their. I
want to ask him a quick question, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, Smoke.
I noticed. We kind of you mentioned that you didn't grow up necessarily hard, and you just got to a point to where you wanted to do what you wanted to do. I noticed, but a lot of people won't admit that. You feel me? Because that's taking personal responsibility for your own actions and for your own, consequences. Because I have a lot of friends who grew up similar to that, but chose that wild route.
Hey, Joy.
What's up, Joy?
Happy Joy.
Damn, I wanted to ask him, like, what made him, how did he get to that point? Because I know brothers who did the same thing and just totally went that wild route. And they'll
never accepted accountability.
Yeah, because they sit there and try to blame they upbringing. And I'll be like, bro, like my upbringing was a little bit lot rougher than yours. You know what I mean? So that I just want to know how you get to that.
But I think that's what I think we have to separate, because as parents, we feel like a lot of parents, or like I know, so my daughter 18 now, and I'm going to be 19 this year. We raise our kids a certain way. Doesn't mean that they're going to be that way. Like at the end of the day, it's up to them to decide who they're going to be. So I think as parents, we take it hard on ourselves to say, "Oh, we did this, or maybe we could have did better." And sometimes like to what Ansar's point was, like he was raised in a proper way. He had the proper influences, and he just sometimes we choose to do what the hell we choose to do. It's trial and error. We got to be on some dumb shit to get to where we are, and I think the best part for him is like Clint said, that acceptance of taking accountability, because you can't say like even to all of us, we were raised a certain way. Our parents didn't raise us to do a lot of things. Do we do those things? Yes. But our parents didn't say that was what we supposed to be doing when we got grown. It was, they had a set of rules of how they wanted us to be and how to live our life. And then at the end of the day, we chose who we were going to be.
Right. Indeed.
So, and it's like, and that's the thing, when you at that level of being real grown to accept your fault and your bad behavior and your not so great decisions, and you learn, it's the point. For one, it shows growth,
right?
Because you accept accountability, and you have now come to know that was not the right choice for you, and you grew from that situation. So when you grow, you don't necessarily go back. So I think that's the gem from that comment, at least for me.
Going back to the what you were saying in terms of the accountability. I think that that's the growth that you definitely see in him, is that knowing, because I know growing up as kids, we all have gone through that, where we've all decided, that we wanted to do our own thing, or we wanted to make our own decisions. I know I grew up like that, where, even being a good kid, I still had those times when I wanted to do my own thing, or I wanted to be my own person outside of what my parents wanted me to do, and making them make that hard decision to say, you know what, enough is enough, that kind of thing. We got you back there, Ansar?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect. Good.
All right, I'm in the process of trying to get a better laptop, so excuse me for the technical difficulties. And that's that 20 years of incarceration. I don't know technology. It baffles me sometimes.
No worries.
It's all right, brother. No worries at all.
Yeah.
I had a
But
question.
the phone
though.
is actually working good, so we're good.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it in on the phone right now, but we can proceed while I'm going through this. Here, type this in.
I had a
Got a little
question.
assistant.
With you trying to do better while you're incarcerated, how hard was it for you to maintain on a path to try to get better as a person versus all the bad influence while you're locked up?
I guess what Dane really want to know is what made you get to the point till you really wanted to change.
I just knew I had to do something different. I didn't like the possibility of how I was living in there and what I could actually die for. I really never thought that I would make it out of there. But coming to the realization that I may not make it out, also came to the realization, if I die in here.
We are
this Thursday. Yeah, this Thursday. Dame and I, we're gonna do a little 30-minute show. It's gonna be a sports show. Title of the show is called Fans Perspective. So we could obviously, from the title, let you know we're coming from the fans' perspective. We want because too many times we hear people who on TV or different podcasts, they always in the know. They got insider information. We don't got that. We're just gonna be going off what we see and how, you know what I mean, and how we feel about what we see.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not professionals, so we don't know jack. I'm an expert. I used to be a running back. I used to be a quarterback. I used to be a hoop. Nah, I hooped up here in my head.
Like Charles Barkley said, ain't no such thing as experts when you talk about basketball. Ain't no such thing.
Only God is an expert.
Yeah, no, ain't no such thing.
Lord. My question is, being incarcerated, I know I've been watching a lot of shows with people being incarcerated, whether they wrongfully or just in there. How do you keep strong in that situation? Because there's a lot going on. The whole environment of being in jail, and you at the mindset of trying to get out and do better. Because you can get caught up in nonsense that when people are trying to be positive, that's when people kind of pounce. So how do you stay away from all the chaos inside to kind of get to where you're trying to go and be out and be able to think about ideals once you get out and what you're going to do to stay out?
That in itself is just very difficult to do as well. I didn't really start having a course correction to roughly 11 to 12 years into my prison sentence. Once again, the environment doesn't cater to you getting your ducks in a row, getting your priorities together. Honestly, I think I was in a hole for like the several time for like the possession of a weapon or something along those lines. And I honestly, for me, I just really got tired of my family coming to see me in a hole. I just honestly got tired of feeling like if I died, like I was saying earlier in here, what have I died for? I just wanted to, at one point, just do something different. So I just didn't want the environment to keep dictating what I had to be and what I've actually become at that stage in my life. As hard as it actually was, and it's hard for a lot of individuals, because the administration doesn't help. Very few inmates will help you along those lines, and if you do find somebody that's keeping you on that straight and narrow path, and it's a light mind, you You hold on to it. You attach it. But 12 years in, I made the decision. I made a lot of enemies in that process, but it's just what I had to do. And a lot of the guys coming out of there doing the same exact thing or better things than I have, they all came to that realization too. I have to do something different. And it's hard to do when everybody is telling you that you're not going to be anything more than a criminal, or you're just a lost cause. You caught a felony. You're the scum of the earth. Because that's how you're treated.
Or you probably gonna go back anyway. You probably gonna go out there and come right back.
Yeah, and a lot of people do. There are a lot of people that come out of there. Statistics show that they within 5 years they return to prison, and that's just the numbers of the game. But
Yeah.
they believe what somebody told them that they were, and they didn't believe what they were for themselves. So it's really believing what you are for yourself.
Exactly.
Go back to your question, Smooth.
What, as far as accountability?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying that you know, I grew up around a lot of guys that, you know, did a lot of prison time as well. And they necessarily, because you mentioned you didn't have that extreme hard upbringing, and some of them, and the majority of them didn't either. You feel me? I may have grew up harder than most of them. You feel me? So when I heard you take accountability for your actions and saying it was really a decision you made, uh, like, were you aware? Yeah, were you aware at the time that you were making decisions and that you were responsible, or did it take going to prison and coming home, or don't know what I mean? How did you come to that realization? Like, I put myself here.
I came to that realization from day one. Like I've never really been one to make any excuses for my actions.
Okay.
I equate that to weakness. If somebody's making excuses for their actions, they're blaming their environment, they're blaming their upbringing, they're blaming what somebody has or hasn't done for them. You know, you just making excuses and you're just full of the shit that you're just not a woman or you're not a man and you're not owning your own shit. Every day I woke up, I put a uniform on, man. And that uniform was that of a street nigga, point blank, period. I went out with a conscientious thought that I was going to find some criminal shit to get involved with, and I executed that. I executed that with precision. So taking the accountability for my actions, for me personally, has never really been an issue of mine. Now, don't get me wrong, I would lie and not take accountability of, like, to the police, to my mom, coming at me and asking me what I done did, X, Y, and Z. But when it came down to it, when the chickens have come home to roost and you have to take the responsibility and accountability for what you've done, I've always been one to take that for what it was. I never cried about the consequences once I found myself in them. Case in point, why a lot of people always ask me, how was I able to do 20 years? And I was able to do 20 years because I put myself in there. Nobody else put me in there. I did that. So you take accountability and you own that shit like a man. And once you paid your due, you return back to a state of mind that you choose to be in.
Okay. That's dope.
Yeah, that definitely is, because a lot of people, like I say, that accountability and that onus on your actions is like the growth that a lot of people don't have.
Now put your people on. I see you had that on your hoodie, and on the picture you got it on too. You know what I mean? You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, put your people on the Lion Nation. I'm partnered with Delano the Lion. He's a up and coming Detroit rapper out of Detroit. And said, you know, he's the CEO of Put Your People On. And at the end of the day, me coming out of prison and while in prison, there were a lot of like minds and negatives and both positives. So sitting down with Delano, sitting down with Ted, sitting down with Coach G, sitting down with Macmo Boss, sitting down with AWOL Trent. We used to all have conversations and building ourselves up about what we were going to do when we got home, under the realization that we had a lot of obstacles and doors that were going to be closed in front of us. So, like any strong man, any strong woman, if you're not giving me a way in, I'm not going to keep knocking the door to get in. I'm going to find my own way. Taz, the CEO of Put Your People On, he did that with his clothing line. Poe G did that with creating a record label and putting artists on in Detroit. So Put Your People On is just me supporting and teaming up with Taz and these other names that I named of individuals coming out of the penitentiary to make our own way, give back to our community, and become our own bosses and generals and CEOs.
Yeah. So you mentioned to me recently that you were looking at basically ways to kind of connect these people and everything. And I know that you're still in development of all that, but give us a taste of what, I mean, you kind of gave us a little bit of taste with the put your people on situation and Delano the Lion, but also just give us a taste of what your motivation behind your networking, your connecting, and then your brand Unlikely Connects. Give us a taste of what motivated you to develop Unlikely Connects.
Yeah, the motivation, once again, between Unlikely Connects is just the motivation of all of the individuals that are named and creating our own network. Obviously, being in prison for 20 years, the social media and the internet wasn't what it is today. So me getting out, all I seen it was the opportunity and as a tool to network and connect as we were already doing in prison. So for me, prison, that's really all it is. You're networking, you're connecting, you're trying to find different individuals that can get you to the next step. You barter, you trade, you exchange ideas. So coming home, I said there's still a need for that. There's still a need for individuals to sit down, trade ideas. You have a business, I have a business. You can help me out in this area. I can help you out in this area. Or do you know somebody who possibly knows somebody that can help me out in this area? We're in an age now to where everybody is trying to achieve a goal, a business, and an idea. But we're also in the age, especially minorities. And in my particular situation, not just a minority, but we're a minority on top of a minority because we have felonies on our record that we still need these type of connections. So the doors that are closed to you for an individual that can help you produce your product, that can help you ship your product, that can help you make your product, you're getting all of those doors closed. But I know 3 or 4 people that can help you in that area, and vice versa. So that's how it was born. It was born in that regard, with Taz supporting Delano's music, Delano supporting Taz clothing. I start supporting Taz clothing. Taz start supporting our clothing. We reached out to Poe. Poe in turn started investing in and supporting our dream and our vision and help us acquire a studio. AWOL Trent, he started producing clothing and things of that nature. So we start becoming our own commercials. We start becoming our own marketing. We start becoming our own support. And it gradually start gravitating and bringing more people in. So Unlikely Connects was just born from nobody wanted to connect with it. So we start connecting amongst ourselves. We created our own network, and it started growing from there.
So going back to prison life and prison aesthetics in terms of the like you said, the reality. Earlier you were expounding on the realities and what it was trying to make you, but how you had to kind of change that reality for yourself. Going back to that, what in that life that was like, I would say, what was most shocking about that caused you to feel like, you know what, this is and not to get on the subject of your breaking point, I'm going to get to that in a second, but what I'm saying is, you know, what was it that you saw there that made you feel like, you know what, I need to do something different with what's happening here. You know, I can't keep doing this day to day. What was that like?
Yeah, it's hard to tell you what that was like. I I refuse to tell you some of the things that I saw in the magnitude that, you know, those things were just, it was horrible. But I think my epiphany, Will, had to do with it was becoming normal.
Mm-hmm.
I was becoming used to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was normalizing hell. I was normalizing chaos. I was normalizing destruction. And I don't know how many people will actually admit it, but I know I was raised better than that. I know my mother raised me better than that. I know my grandmother raised me better than that. We all do. Every thug, criminal, drug dealer, like, I don't really think anybody is encouraging them and trying to cultivate for them to be a menace to society. Mm-hmm. So for me, and how I was raised, and the seeds that were planted over all of those years that finally start getting root and blossoming, and I looked at what I was normalizing, what became easy for me personally. When I looked in the mirror, I didn't like it, although I knew I was capable of it. Right. I would be one of the first ones to admit that anybody to survive in prison, truly survive in prison, and come out unscathed, you have to become an animal. And some people get lost in that animal and they never find a way out of it. I got lost in the animal, recognized it, and realized that I can't allow this to be normal, especially when I know I'm about to get out. And this is why a lot of people get out and they go back, because they got lost in the animal. They got lost in what they became or what they normalized.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the crazy part, because a lot of the.
But it's the individual that has to make the choice to not get used to what they're becoming in there and make a course correction.
And that's crazy, because a lot of the stuff, because I've been watching, like I said, a lot of the different people that either were released from jail, different Netflix things, and people were saying how they basically went in, like, you know, kids that didn't have no idea of jail life. And when their family would come see them years later as they grew into an adult, totally different person. And it's like they had a hard time explaining why they had to change, because they couldn't be the soft, nice person that they were going in. Like, they were innocent. They didn't know what it was like. And now you're seeing what's happening in this institution, and you have to adapt to it. And then when you come home, it's like, that's not me. To separate yourself from what you had to do to stay alive, and to, you know, like, I remember one guy, he was saying how he got the first day he got to jail, he was young, he got raped. He said, and because I was a soft boy, I didn't know like what the norms were. So when stuff was happening, I didn't understand. Then that happened, and he had to be this whole different person. And so to recognize that, and for you to say that, yeah, I had to let go of that survival mode and come out and say I made it out, and I don't have to be in survival mode in that type of like I'm no longer in that environment. I'm now out and free. I have so many options. I'm not
let me chime in real quick, because I think that's very important in that last part that you just said too. And a lot of people ask me how I'm adjusting, and I tell them, honestly, I don't know. You may look from the outside looking in to say, I only been home roughly 6 months. I was released from prison in September 9th of last year. So I came out with a focus and a drive, obviously not to catch up, but to put myself in a position to be comfortable, to be my age with the responsibilities that entails. But that prison mentality was 20 years in the making. Mm-hmm. I was not capable or incapable of turning that on overnight.
So you're still adjusting.
Personally, there should be a debrief. There should be, I don't want to get all off subject, but there should be something set up. We suffer from PTSD, the things that we see, things that we survive in prison. I've seen horrible things. I've been a part of horrible things. It is a miracle for any man or woman to come out of that situation and get their ducks in a row, get their life together, and put that behind them when so many people can't. So
it's a process. It's an everyday thing.
Yeah. Say that one more time.
I said it's a process. It's an everyday thing. It's not just like you said. It's not magical. I'm not there. I'm now back to how it's not. You're not the person that you were going in, and you're definitely not the same person going out. And it's that, and that's the thing about that's what I've been hearing a lot, even with personal experience of people that are close to me, coming out of jail for after being in there for years. It's that mentality of trying to adjust, and it's not an instant thing. It's a everyday process, and then dealing with it. Like, because at that point, you're kind of almost like we talk about on the podcast with these kids seeing death all the time. It's that this like it's you become so desensitized that it's normal for you. And so when you come out, it's like, no, this is not necessarily like that. Life was not normal out in these streets, and it's an adjustment process. So it's an everyday thing. It's not a one day. It's one and done. It's a process.
Can you hear us? Can you hear us on the video now? We got you on the video.
I think he probably calling you back.
Okay. Let me. Oh, we had you on the videos. I was trying to get you on. We had you on the video. We was trying to get you on the video.
Yeah, I couldn't hear her.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. No, we had you on the video. We was trying to get you back on the video.
Okay.
Yeah, but go ahead. Go ahead. We listening. Go ahead.
Say the last part of your question. I didn't catch that.
Who minds?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was just saying, like, it's not like you said. It's not a I'm here and now I'm out here on these streets. It's more of it's a process. So I think a lot of people, like, it's an adjustment era. So it's like a day-to-day thing. It's not like you said, it's not something that's easy to get over. And I think people have to understand that, especially those that are in close proximity to you, to understand that you have to kind of work through what you went through. Like you said, it's PTSD. And certain things can trigger a reaction that you didn't even think about because,
Yeah, like I said, everyday process. It's an everyday struggle. A lot of family members don't understand because when I try to tell them, why do you do X, Y, and Z? Like my mama had this thing that she had to bring up. She said, "You stand so close to me." And in prison, we tend to stand close to individuals to be able to react when something happens, because you never know when something is going to happen. A lot of us get out of prison, probably even now on this phone call, I'm talking loud, and we don't realize we're talking so loud because in prison, everything is loud. There's so much background noise all of the time, and everybody is yelling. But just the social anxiety that comes along with it. And for me, it really had to do with a lot of frustration, even now with working with the computer. And, you saying, well, if you plug this in or if you do this or if I go to this app, I'm an infant. I know nothing about the technology and how frustrating that can be for an 8-year-old or a 9-year-old to have to come help bail me out and make fun of me about what they think that you should automatically know. So, it's a learning curve coming out of prison, even though we're grown men coming out of prison.
yeah, I experienced that.
That a lot of us, and a lot of us went in as kids. We went in as children, and we're coming out as grown adults. And our whole upbringing has been behind bars. Our whole social understanding has come from behind bars. So we have to transition into that all over again.
Yeah, I experienced that with my son dad when he came home. He had basically spent half of his whole juvenile childhood locked up, came out for a little bit, like was going back and forth. We locked up because he couldn't let go of the life that he was living. So, like, some of the stuff I kind of understand from him. And one plus side I will say is most guys that come home from jail that been in jail for a long time got OCD. They clean like nobody's business. Like they will leave shit spick and span. Like they clean like my grandma cleaned. Like that's the plus side. Like go clean all that. But no, on a serious note, it's an adjustment, and just that, like, and that's the thing. Like I remember me and him had conversations about how certain things, like I didn't understand certain things about him, but I kind of got it from after certain conversations we had because I had to understand why he was doing things or why he was moving the way he was moving, and just like something normal as sitting down to eat, why he ate the way he sat there and ate his food.
I just wanted to add something. You know what I think is great. You know what I've noticed from family members and what I could feel just from the conversation with you that just come home. It's an energy and a passion they have when they first come home, and that's like no other. You know what I mean? So especially it's the drive not to go back. Some people had to drive not to go back. You know what I mean? I'm never going back to that place. And they don't just stop there. They also have that drive to progress. You know what I mean? And it seems like your drive and your situation, like you said, you hit the ground. You came home last September and you hit the ground running. You feel me? So did was that passion there before you went in, or did it intensify when you got out or during your time in?
Yeah, it was there in there, but the passion was different. And I had to just refocus what that passion was. And there, my passion was survival. Period.
Mm-hmm.
And that survival passion, so that's really all it is. Day by day, you in there trying to survive. Be it physically, be it mentally, you trying to survive. Because people in there crashing, they not surviving mentally. They break down and they turn into these medications. There's walking zombies in there from these psych meds because they crack mentally and they lost their passion to survive mentally. Then you also got the physical threat. You know, it's dog eat dog. You know, if you weak, you light in the ass, and somebody won't what you got, they coming to take it. So you have to have a passion to condition yourself physically. For me and most individuals, if the physical is together and the mental is together, and you have an outdate, and a lot of guys don't get outdates, and they keep all of that shit together. And it's really, and I definitely want to commend the individuals that have life, triple life, no possibility. They still fighting to come home, but a lot of these men are educating individuals like myself that have an outdate to do something with their second chance. And that's not highlighted enough either. So I applaud and I congratulate. And for me, my personal shout out has to go to Eugene Brown, known as Hamza, and the brother Abdul Malik, because they was the ones that kept me strong physically and mentally, and installed in me what you hear in my voice and in my speech now. But on the way home, that passion had to shift. It didn't have to be about survival mentally and physically no more. I already mastered that. So I had to master something else in that same drive and passion to get out of prison. Had to turn into what am I going to do to stay out of prison? And this is where all these creative thoughts come from. This is where all the critical thinking comes from, with applying the characteristic traits, what we learned in prison, to turn that into something that can work out here in society.
So that new survival instinct that you're developing, or that you ended up developing as you came out, do you attribute that to just that need to not go back, or do you attribute that to what you learned while you were in prison? Like how does that connect back to what you've been through?
It's just connected to life experiences in general. And I think the only reason why a light is shined on individuals like myself coming out of prison and like, damn, he came out of prison and he's getting all of this shit together, only because we've been in prison. Had it not been in prison, I'm just doing what you've been doing for the last 20 years. Ain't nothing special about that. What's special about it? You got a job. Oh, yeah, you're supposed to have a job, right? You're trying to be an entrepreneur. Like, yeah, who's not out here trying to be an entrepreneur because they're just tired of working a 9 to 5? So I think the only thing that makes this amazing and remarkable is because society is looking at it like, well, shit, you've been in hell in prison. You've been a slave by the decisions that you made and reinstituted slavery for yourself, and then you're coming out of here and you're doing something with yourself. So to me, that whole thought process is flawed, because what you're telling yourself is, or what we think about individuals coming out of prison is, I'm not going to be shit. I got an issue with you telling me what I'm going to do. So everybody looking at me like I'm a fail, I got to prove you wrong. And I think that's the mindset of a lot of guys coming out of prison. Like, all right, you think I'm going to go back? You think I ain't going to be shit? You think I'm worthless? You think I didn't learn nothing when I was in there? So let me prove you wrong. Because that's all society is really telling us. Oh, you're going to go back to prison. You're a bum. You're a criminal. You're always going to be a felon. You're never going to do nothing with your life. So that drive really just had to do with just proving society wrong. And I appreciate the highlights and the pat on the backs and all of that. But once again, if it was you, Smooth, if it was you, Dame, if it was you, Will, or even if it was Sonny, you know, you're not getting those same accolades because you've been out here free the whole time doing what you were supposed to do. So what makes it any different that a man or a woman coming out of prison isn't supposed to do what they're supposed to do?
Right. No, you that's a great point. I mean, I never thought about it like that, especially for, like you said, the fact of, you know, a lot of the same things that you're doing, the steps that you're taking. Now, I mean, I don't downplay yourself on some of this stuff though, bro, because some of the stuff in the short amount of time that you've done it is commendable because of the fact that there's people out here, and I mean, it's borderline laziness, right? It's bottom line. Not applying yourself, is bottom line, not focusing on goals that makes
when they stuck on that fast life.
Yeah, it's the fact of, you know, a lot of people out here don't even apply themselves to do some of the things that you've done in this short amount of time, right? You know, the one thing that I know, I think one of the first things I commended you on was, you know, the focus and and I know what you've been through, right? The ups and the downs of feeling like you were on top of your situation, handling your situation, but then being pushed back, right? Seeing the ups and the downs of that. But you know, a lot of people don't ever come back from that, and they are on the outside, right? And so one thing I know I commended you on was like not giving up. You know, a lot of people just give up because it's easy to give up.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, it is. It's an easier course of action to take to give up and just not do nothing. But the lazy thing, what you were talking about, a lot of the issue that I had when I came home that bothered me to my core was people telling me I was moving too fast, and I couldn't understand that. I couldn't understand why people were telling me to slow down, like you're moving too fast. Like the issue that I had when I first came home was acquiring my identification. I need identification to get a job. And if I can't get a job, then everything else is so far out from under. And you revert back to the behavior that you're familiar with. A criminal will revert back. Because the first law of nature is self-preservation. Period.
Sure.
So getting the ID to be they're making it easier in the NBO. They're starting to give you your documentation when you're leaving out, but that hasn't always been the case. And unfortunately for me, that wasn't the case. I think the only thing I had was my birth certificate. So I still had to acquire my social security card and my state ID and my driver's license, et cetera, et cetera. But now you throw the coronavirus on top of that. So all of these things are stalled and you're held up with that too. For me, I just had the mindset that when I tried to apply in Wayne County in Detroit, they telling me I'm 5 months down the line before I can get an appointment. I was just smart enough to go outside of that. All right, well, we go to Ann Arbor. We go to Novi. We go to Livonia. I'll figure out how to get there. Just let me get the appointment. And then I started having 4 or 5 appointments back to back to back. So when I'm going to the parole office, I'm telling my parole officer, like, yeah, I got X, Y, and Z. And guys are saying, well, shit, I can't get mine for 4 or 5 months down the line. I'm like, why don't you just go further out? They talking about they ain't got a ride. I'm going to catch the bus. They talking about they don't want to catch the bus. I'm going to ride a bike. I don't have a bike. Well, God gave me 2 feet. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, self-preservation is the first law of nature. I'm going to.
But a lot of people aren't as determined.
Say it again, Sonny.
I said a lot of people aren't that determined. It's the excuses that's never going to get you anywhere. It's the same people that say ain't no jobs hiring, but McDonald's and FedEx and Amazon always hiring, but you don't want them jobs, but you claiming you can't find a job, and there's jobs out here. It's that complacency of being stuck in the mindset of excuses, and that's why you're never going to go anywhere. If you have that determination in which you push to go, like, listen, you stop me from doing this. This is my goal. I'm going to get it done regardless, and that's a dope ass mindset because a lot of people don't have that.
Yeah, and I mean, I wish more people would, but once again, I can't tell you what drives one person after the next. But what I will tell you is, anybody that does have drive, if you're surrounding yourself with somebody that doesn't have it, you're going to slow the fuck down. So for everybody that was telling me to slow down, they got the fuck out the car. Or they called up.
Get the fuck out the car. Get your
I
ass out.
start surrounding myself with people that can keep up. I'm moving too fast for you, not a problem. And you need to get on another ride because they drive fast.
I'm pretty sure I was telling you to stay busy.
Yeah, that's it. Just stay busy and stay focused. And keep setting real. This is the thing too, and this is the advice that I'm giving anybody, whether you've been in prison or not. Set small goals to acquire big goals. The best advice I ever could have got. I'm gonna set this small goal, and this small goal. Because what it does when you start accomplishing the small goals, instead of selling the one big goal you put in front of you, get more confident in what you can achieve.
Mm-hmm.
I went to prison reading at a second grade, third grade level. I couldn't read, and it was hell in the struggle to learn how to read. So when the Muslims started helping me to learn how to read, they took me all the way back to the basics. ABC. Set small goals for yourself. Start pronouncing and spelling out small words. Set small goals for yourself. And then now you look up, I went out a high school dropout, reading at a second, third grade level. I have an associate's degree in business administration. I graduated with honors from Jackson College, and I'm a member of Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society, and I have a scholarship that will pay my tuition in order for me to get my bachelor's degree. But I don't think some of these things to boast and brag. What I'm saying is I had to start from somewhere, setting small goals. And once I got that accomplished, I set the next one and the next one. And I also had the realization, luckily, because I was in prison, as horrible as that may sound, I had the time to invest. So I look at time differently from what a lot of people out in the world look at it as. I don't look like it's not enough time in the day because I got tomorrow. So you're thinking you only got 24 hours. I got 48 hours. I got 6 months. I have a year.
Right.
So I'm prioritizing my time in the realistic time frame of what I can get accomplished. Why I feel I've been able to get so much accomplished in such a short amount of time. But I also want to highlight this too. I would not been able to do none of this without support. I've had a support system. My son was my support system. My mother was my support system. Delano was my support system. Ho G was my support system. Taz was my support system. So I had people out here willing to help me, but they were only willing to help me because they seen I was willing to help myself. So
exactly. Oh, that's a big one right there.
Yeah,
we've actually talked about that a couple of times on the show. Like people who want to help people who want to help themselves, because we don't want to see some lazy person benefit from our support. If we see somebody who wants to help themselves, we go out full bore to help somebody who actually look like they're trying to help themselves.
Exactly.
I want to get back to a point he made that I thought was major, and like he said, it's for everybody. You know what I mean? And it's setting small goals that lead to bigger goals. What that is momentum.
Mm-hmm.
You're building momentum. You know what I mean? And it also, a lot of people set a huge goal and they'll fail, and then they'll just quit because they fail. Well, like the brother Ansar said, he had time to put in the work. Most people don't want to put in the work for that big goal. They want to skip the steps. You know what I mean? And them steps is them small goals. Like he said, go back to the basics. You know what I mean? You got your eye on the big prize, excuse me, but you have to start from somewhere. You know what I mean? You have to crawl before you walk in most cases. You know what I mean? And even then, you still, when you walk, you got to walk properly. You know what I mean? You got to learn how to walk. You know what I mean? You got to learn how to run properly. So, like, I definitely think that is big. You feel me? Because that's one of the things I live by. Like, I like to set small goals, and when you accomplish them goals, and then you look back and you see what you done built. You know what I mean? What you standing on? You like, damn, I done did something, and that's because you done built momentum.
Right.
You feel me? Momentum, and that's what the brother has right now. He has that momentum, and this is life. So failures or obstacles always going to come our way, but never let that momentum, that drive, evaporate because of the obstacles that come along.
True.
And that
Yeah,
advice is for everybody.
but you got the failures can be building blocks too for your success because you know what not to do, what to do next time some obstacle comes around. You don't have to let that failure set you back. That
Yeah,
you
don't
can
let
have
it
that failure.
defeat you
Yeah,
and get you in that
that fail,
mindset that you can't
yeah,
come out of it.
yeah, that failure can actually just be a building block, not something to draw you back.
Right.
You have to have the proper perspective on certain things like that. But most of us don't know how to take defeat
Yeah,
with
a
grace.
lot of us don't know how to do that. But you know, just speaking of a particular mindset and setting those building blocks up, one thing that prison gives a lot of guys with my mindset coming out of there to be successful, prison you can't run away from shit. It ain't no getting around it. It ain't no dodging it. Like you have to face that. I tackle failure in the same way. There's small goals, big goals, medium goals, plans for tomorrow, shit go fail, period. So an obstacle, I take that with a challenge. I feel like anybody in my position takes failure with a challenge in the aspect that when I find a roadblock or I find an obstacle, I get around it. If I can't get around it, I'm going to go over it. If I can't go over it, I'm going to go under it, right? Or I'm going to turn around and just take another course of action to get around what's blocking my way. And I think a lot of people, when they find themselves or they set a goal in front of them and they fail, it's like the brother said, smooth the momentum. You lose the momentum. You can't lose the momentum. You just have to redirect the momentum. So if I'm going to school to be a rocket scientist and I'm not good at the curriculum that's going to get me there, I suck at math, so I know I'm not going to be able to do trigonometry and calculus. I need to change my course of study instead of constantly failing at something that I'm just not that good at, or it's going to take me outside a realistic time frame in order to get it accomplished. So instead of being a rocket scientist, I can just be in another field of science to where I'm able to perform at my maximum capacity. So it's finding your maximum capacity at what you're good at. And a lot of people try to do things that are outside their realm, where they're not good at. I'm never going to be a Michael Jordan. I barely can dribble, but I'm good with football. So why would I waste my time in basketball? So you have to just find out what you're good at. And that's the realistic goals, the small goals of what I'm talking about, and learning from when you fail and when you fall down.
Right.
Because without pain, without sacrifice, without struggle, there's no growth. From the time that you're born, you're in pain. It pains you when you're teething. You're falling down and bumping your knees when you learn how to walk. But the child is still growing the teeth. The child is still trying to figure out how to talk. The child is still growing all in the same time, becoming stronger because of the suffering. So you have to find a way within yourself to become stronger within your suffering. This is the problem. When we got older, we stop wanting to fail and suffer as if that's not the world around us. But once you accept that reality, you become stronger for it. There's nothing in my life that I feel can happen to me that's going to break me. I found my bottom. People coming out the penitentiary for 20, 30, 40 years, there's nothing that you can do to me. I've seen that. I've seen my bottom. I've lost family members. I had nothing. I've contemplated suicide. I've done all of that. So coming out of that and you telling me I got to be stressing about some bills, not a problem. I got to be stressing about transportation, not a problem. I got to be stressing about a job. And like Sonny said, when I got out within 2 weeks, Sonny, I had 3 job offers because I was willing to work at McDonald's. I was willing to work at Amazon. I was willing to work in a car plant. Luckily for me, I was able to just land a job with DCC that gave me the financial stability that I needed. And the only reason I got that job, ironically, is because when I talked to Terrell Lockhart, he seen my drive and my hustle. I was painting garages when he pulled up to my house for the interview. He said, "You painting a house?" And I say, "Man, I got to make money." "Oh, you painting garages? I got to make money." So my little brother hooked me up to where we out here painting garages together, and I was able to put money in my pocket in order to have finances to get to point A to point B while looking for a job as my first job didn't fall through. So it's just the drive of failure, learning from the failure, and knowing what you're good at and what you're capable of, and optimizing that to the maximum capability.
Hold on, Ansar. I want you to roll back a little bit. Go back to, what was his name again? Terrell. You go back to that story. Try to summarize it a little bit, but go back to that story and give the people a little taste of the drive and the determination you had. And what I mean by go back, I mean talk about the hurdles you jumped the months before you got out, and then what you did to make sure it still happened.
COVID hit, and as we all know, COVID hit, and it ran and is running devastation through the penitentiary system. I got sick. I caught COVID. This was a time when we weren't educated about it. Guys were dying. It was a mess in the NDOC. They were trying to get guys out of there. The medical couldn't handle the influx. Fast forward, I was in the middle of and started a riot. But we were dying. They were allowing us to die, and we were watching each other die. I just can't tell you the psychological impact that did. So the segue, my namesake, and how I carry myself in there, Ansar means helper, supporter, defender. I'm watching my fellow inmates die. Me and a lot of guys in there watching our fellow inmates die. We tired of it. We stand up and say, man, y'all got to get us help, or at least give us the illusion that you're giving us help. Get these guys out of here. Stop leaving them on the floors and in these cells while they dying. Mm-hmm. So I had just completed a program in there through Vocational Village. And the Vocational Village program pretty much guaranteed me a job with DTE when I got out of there. The riot.
Yeah, DTE is our electric and gas company is DTE for those of them.
Yeah, correct. In Detroit, correct. In their service area.
Yeah.
So when I got out of prison, I tried to seek out the job. And the MDOC said that I didn't complete the program, that I was a troublemaker for the program, that I caused a riot in there, and they told DTE not to hire me. And I was calling for the job when I got out. Hey, I'm out. I got all my certificates. Y'all said y'all will give me a job. And they said, no, we're not going to give you a job. The MDOC isn't recommending you for the job, and you're shit out of luck. So I kept calling. I kept going down there. I kept speaking to Terrell. Now, Terrell was kind of empathetic and sympathetic, but the powers that be was telling him one narrative about me. And I'm telling him, I finished, I completed. I was actually a tutor in the program. And it was just no. The doors were closed. So I started seeking out other jobs, but I kept seeking out Terrell as well. So the due diligence was keep seeking them out. Terrell just said that he really got tired of it. He really wasn't going to take the risk. So he spoke with everybody that completed the program on the penitentiary that had the job. And he came back and he talked to me. He actually came to my house. He said, I've never talked to so many people about one person and nobody had nothing bad to say about it. Except for one guy, Levante Choice. Me and him, we had a falling out in the penitentiary, in this program. And he told Terrell, personally, I didn't like the guy. I think Ansar is an asshole. But I can guarantee you this. Whatever that man tells you he's going to do, he's going to do it. And he has a remarkable work ethic. That set out more with Terrell than anything. Because he said everybody said everything good about you. Even the guy that didn't like you had to say something good about you.
Right.
And when he pulled up to the house, I had all of my certificates to give to him. He didn't want none of that. He just said, I want to talk to you. I need to learn about you. So we just sat there and we chopped it up. Like we were, it wasn't an employee talking to an employer. And long story short, he took a chance. And he said, I'm going to take a chance on you. He gave me the recommendation, and he put me with one of the tree companies to keep the trees away from the utility line. And to this day, I got his number in my phone. He's been in my house several times. We talk. I keep him updated and the course of direction that I'm taking with my appointment. So, it panned out. But the segue into that is I could have easily given up. They didn't want to give me the job. Everything was going against me. But it was my due diligence that had him say, I got to give you a chance. I got to take a look at this guy. Because you're just so diligent about working.
Right.
Not only just working for a company. For me, that was the best option. I didn't want to work at Amazon. I didn't want to work in a car plant. Because DTE pays very well.
Yes, they do. Yes,
I'm sure they do, because that's I think our PSN, ours is PSNG. They pay very well too.
Yeah. They I think I believe he probably makes as much or if not more than I do. and I've been in IT for 25 years.
Hold on. Can I hold a
Dead end
stack or
job.
no? Now I'm playing.
Dead end job, Will. Computers.
I know. Me and my dead end job. I got to give me a real job. That's what the problem is. I need to get a real job.
No.
Stop staying at home.
This IT
Deadbeat.
stuff, man, for birds. No. Let's go back. One other thing I wanted to talk about. And you touched on it here and there. You mentioned it a few times. And we even mentioned that, growing up, we knew you as Ansley. And talk to us about the true impact that your imam and your brothers had on you, developing your faith.
My faith?
Mm-hmm. Well, developing becoming a Muslim. That's what I mean. I'm sorry.
My brother and my mom. My brother.
No. The brothers in the prison, the ones that you had mentioned.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've been Muslim for 18 years. I was incarcerated for 20.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up Baptist. So, I went in there Christian, I went in there Baptist, and I was diehard Christian and with my belief. I believe faith is personal. That's personal between you and your God, whatever you want to call them. I don't care what you call them. We all worship in the same God. We just have different practices and how we choose to go about that.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, and only speaking from my personal experience, growing up Baptist was pretty much because I was raised Baptist. That was my parents and my family's religion. There were some things that I kind of didn't necessarily agree with. After I was introduced to Islam, after I went to prison, it just fit me better as a man and just helped me be more responsible and taking accountability for myself. But it did help with the brothers in there and how they were carrying themselves. Not saying that a lot of religious groups don't operate in this fashion, but the way that the Muslims moved in prison, it was remarkable. No matter what the circumstances dictate you had to be in there, what the environment dictates you had to be in there, the Muslims are some of the most founded, firm, focused individuals that I've ran across. And I knew if I was to get my life in order, and once again, I've been Muslim for 18 years, and all of that 18 years, I haven't necessarily been on my deen. But it was setting the seed and giving me the momentum to shape myself with who I am today. And what I loved about the brothers is they said, if you want to be in here and act a fool and you want to act like a nigger, go over there.
Mm-hmm.
They gonna give you everything you're looking for. But if you don't want your situation and the environment to dictate who you are, you want to figure out who you are for you, then come over here.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't that we're going to show it to you. They just gave me the tools, the books, and the resources I needed to figure it out for myself. That's another thing that I liked about it. They say, here, read this book. Or you can't read, well, we'll help you read so you can understand the book and you can come up with your own solution and your own diagnosis of what you read and apply it to yourself. So, once again, that was just me surrounding myself, for a lack of better words, millionaires instead of people that were broke.
Right.
So I had to find like minds. So those like minds is like, damn, even though that you in here, you're not drinking, you're not gambling, your sex impulses aren't all rampant, and I kind of admired that type of strength that it took. But that's not to say that they were punks, because if you crossed them, they stuck together like a solid wall if you were in the right. And that's another thing that I liked about how the Muslims were carrying themselves. You enjoying the right and you forbid the wrong. And that's how I lived my life coming out of prison. I don't care if we've been friends for 1,000,000 years. If you're wrong, I'm not siding with that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're right, I'm going to stand with you until the death of you. Because that's what a man does. I'm going to tell you when you're wrong. And I'm also going to tell you because you're wrong and you don't want to take a course correction, this is where we got to part ways until you figure it out. And the Muslims were easy to do that. You're wrong. You want to keep doing wrong. Well, go ahead over there until you figure it out. But when you're ready to get right, come back over here.
Indeed. Bro, appreciate it. Oh, go ahead, Smooth.
Oh no, I was just about to ask him, since we're talking about momentum and goals and stuff like that. What's next for you? You know what I mean? Like what?
What's next? What's next for me is putting a lot more momentum and energy behind Unlikely Connect as a business. I'm actually in the process of I was going to go with an LLC, but I think it suits better with who I am as a man, who I am as an individual, and who I am by order of my faith, that I turned it into a nonprofit. And I'm turning it into a nonprofit in the sense that I don't want to profit off helping someone else. And at the same time, I believe that a nonprofit organization and seeking out donors will better suit the mission that Unlikely Connect is on. That's not to say that I'm not going to go off the business venture, but focusing in on Unlikely Connect, I want to stay true to form that this name, this organization, the platforms that I've been creating, and the network that has been created from those motions and momentum that we have made is going to stay true to form. And it's not about helping minorities or inmates coming, or returning citizens coming out of the penitentiary system. It's about helping up and coming businesses in general and making connections across the board, whether that be black, white, Muslim, Jew, Christian, straight, gay, or anything in between. Creating a network system in order for us to network and to prosper as a community. Because the individual is nothing without support from the community. So Unlikely Connect is about building community. I'm also going to start on the business side of it, my own clothing line, with the support of the Lion Nation and Taz, the CEO of Put People On, and Delano the Lion as well. So I have a Segway clothing line coming out with Unlikely Connect as well. And we have the Lion Nation studio that is about to open probably around the end of March down at Greenfield Plaza. And I'm in the conversation with a business partner of mine, Abdul Rashid, to start a consulting and or managing firm under Unlikely Connect as well. So there are a few things that we have in the works that we're working on.
See, I like that. I like that. That's like you said, stay busy, stay focused. I like that. You know, I wish you the best. I wish you the best of luck, brother. You know what I mean? Sincerely.
Indeed,
Thank
indeed.
you. I appreciate it.
You know what? I just got to ask one lighthearted question. Your first
Lord,
time
what
being
it's gonna
out.
be.
Your first time being out. What did you eat and what did you love? What did you go for first? Your first meal, your first real meal? Because we know
Mom
you
was
used to.
preaching together.
You used to be able to eat. You don't know this guy. He used to be able to eat plates.
Well, look, there is a politically correct way to answer the first thing I ate when I came home.
Oh, we
That's what my mind went.
that show
no
was
lie.
Saturday.
That's my mom when he said, "What did he eat?" I'm like,
Right?
listen.
That show was for Saturday, sir.
He probably
So
ain't nobody's food. He probably listen. He
Right.
ate some food already. Okay.
I think we understand.
I'm sorry. What proteins and
Right.
enzymes?
Then you got to think. Right. He's like. First
Dave, shut up. Don't ask the question no more. Stop asking dumb questions. You already know what that man had. What his first meal was. Moving right along. You want to know what after he did after his first meal?
After her. and that question is for Saturdays.
Right. So Keela, I almost remember Keela from Inkster. She said it's great hearing your voice again. She's in our comments right now. She's one of our biggest supporters on the show.
Oh my God!
Wanted to say hey to you, and it was good to hear your voice
That's
again.
super funny. What was your last meal? Okay.
Yeah, when we were younger. So not only did Ansar grow up with us, but when we were a little older, before he went in, he actually lived with me and my girlfriend at the time, and in Inkster, and we talk about wild times between between just the antics at the house to the antics he got into in the streets. I had to kick him out. I'm like, what was I, 25, 26, having to kick this almost grown man out my house because he's so crazy. But you know, it was we definitely went through a lot together. Ansar, man, you know, I've been yeah, the pen days. Yes, Keela, the pen days. Yeah, Keela lived with us too. So we had a house full. And
Oh, y'all was on Penn Street?
yeah,
Myself, y'all was doing too much. Well, you raised everybody kids. You out here just having a boarding house. What's going on?
Kids, raise people on my street, you know, whatever I had to do to keep everybody. But
I can ask you more questions after the show.
Let's not underestimate that, man. Like, you was everybody's big brother, Segway, stepdad. Like, you came from a real.
I'm trying to be a child.
All in all, you know, I've always looked at you as my brother. I always looked at Damien as my brother, Kevin, like all of y'all. But you know, no matter what I found myself in back then, if you remember correctly, you were always pulling up.
Oh yeah.
Always, you know, helping me out and pulling me out of situations, man. And you know, I owe a lot of who I am as a man today, man. And I say that with pride, because of you. You know, the advice that you gave me back then, it took a while to take root. And even in my incarceration, you know, you were a strong support system there, man, and keeping me focused and talking me through some dark times.
Yeah.
So,
well, can I drop Zay off? Because I'm tired of him.
No.
Can I drop my child off? Because I need a break, and I'll drop him off. You can raise him. I'll send you some child support, all that. No, so we like shit. Can I drop myself off so I can run away from him? I don't know.
Right. Drop yourself off. Come on through. Well, either one of y'all are welcome. Yeah, bro, I appreciate that. And
man, if you don't mind, Will, I mean, I can't name everybody, obviously, but you know, I just want to give a shout out and have everybody look out for put your people on. Taz down there at Greenfield Plaza, CEO, put your people on. Delano the Lion Studios. Delano the Lion Karma album just came out. Also, Poji and Friends, nigga what? Check that album out. You got Poji on there, AWOL Trent, Backmo Boss, Sauce Guy 80, Rick the Ruler, plus many more. You have all of them on there. My man up out of Lansing, Tommy Gunn, he's just getting out, getting his boxing career back together. We got to check him out. Also, my mom, Tavon Cortez, and everybody, man, that just has been a support system. My son, my daughter, Solomon and Maya. I love everybody. The support system that I've been getting from all my friends and my family. 72 Quavo. I mean, that list can go on and on. But
hold on, he has to do the infamous Snoop speech.
The music that they doing. And,
I like to me.
No doubt, bro. No doubt. We're proud of you. We definitely appreciate everything that you.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
To bring yourself into this great light. You know, Keela said it best. It's absolutely amazing because we knew the kid you grew up. We knew you had, you know, as a young man. But to see you come out of that and to turn your life around into what it is today and the inspiration. I mean, just listening to you earlier, I was just thinking like, bro, we need to add motivational speaker to the end of your title right now, bro. Because the things
definitely
need to hear.
Me and Poji, we was actually talking about that. You know, Delano the Lion tell me all of the time, you need to go to that, man. You know, so my family tell me that all the time. So, you know, we may get that in the works as well. So it's so much time in the day. It's always tomorrow.
It's always tomorrow.
You never know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, we appreciate you for joining us. I'm glad we got through the technical difficulties. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Yeah, we got through it, man. Smooth, man. Nice to meet you, man. I appreciate it. Dane, we got to link up. Sonny, thank you as well, man. I appreciate all of y'all for having me. Thank you.
No problem.
No problem. Anytime, bro. Make sure you come back on and do the show again.
Yes.
First of all. Secondly, you know what I mean? Keep that momentum. I love the energy. Like
something else smooth that I'm working on too. Through the Lion Nation Studios, we're working on the podcast. So y'all can be my first guest coming through there. We can work that out.
Oh, I'm with it. You know what I mean? I'm definitely with that. You know what I mean? And as far as that, like, you know what I mean, like Willie was joking about the motivational speaker, but seriously, like, oh yeah. So seriously, like because you can feel and hear the passion.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
could feel the determination. You could see the strength that came from the pain. You know what I mean? When somebody take it from somebody who experienced pain, like you can hear it. You know when somebody's speaking it and speaking power now.
Yeah.
So now I mean that's why, you know what I mean, I respect it. And you know, even though this is my first time meeting you, salute, and just know you got somebody rooting for you on this end.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, thank you definitely for joining us. Thanks for you sharing your story, sharing what you went through, and just being that, because like you never know, like motivational speaker is definitely, because you never know who been through what you've been through, who need to hear what you been through, and that how you got through all that and how you are where you are, even though you may not feel like you're at where you need to be at. You so far from where you were.
Indeed.
So that's the thing. Like we don't realize how powerful our story is to somebody else that's going through what we went through currently or have been through and don't know how to see a way out. So definitely motivational speaking is always a good thing, especially when you're going through something, you triumphed and became this person. And no matter if you fall, stumbled, or whatnot, the fact that you have that drive to keep pushing forward is always amazing. But definitely come back, join us for whatever topic we're doing. For fun topics, serious topics don't matter. Definitely dope for you to join us tonight.
Now, he's better than Tim Robbins.
I appreciate it.
For real. Save one, save the world. And you
Yes,
definitely
right.
can save somebody through your story. For real.
No doubt, no doubt. I'm gonna call you right back, Ansar, once we get off the show. Okay.
All right, thank y'all. Y'all have a good night.
All right.
You too,
You
brother.
too.
You too.
Dope.
That's definitely dope. That was definitely dope.
I like the honesty. You
Yes.
feel me? Because you know, the raw honesty.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Transparent.
Because very transparent. You know what I mean? You gotta respect that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I said, from just hearing him early when he first started talking, I could feel it. You feel me?
Yeah.
And
Even with all
I
the
guess
nonsense, you still heard what he was saying.
yeah, because I could feel the I've seen it. I've seen it from friends who came home and I heard seen that determination. You feel that energy and they kept it going. You feel me? And I see that same energy, that same feel in him. And you know I mean, like I said, like you said, Willie, that motivational speaker, all he got to do is save one person.
Yes.
You feel me?
Yep.
All he got to do is
You,
save one person.
you know, it was kind of interesting when he brought the experience about the animal, how some people go back because they let the animal consume them versus not letting it go. No, being something to survive, then not just letting that animal go, what you had to do to survive, just let it go in prison.
Yeah.
That was pretty
And it's the
interesting.
process, and that's the thing of being, I think, and that's why I say, like, I've been watching a lot of different more so the innocence people going through, like people going through stuff and that was wrongfully convicted and coming out after spending 20, 30 plus years and going in
Yes.
complete, like, not to dismiss what he went through, but like even when you are even when you have done that, broke that law, it's that you may not be that person, because it's a whole different ball game when you in, and to come out and be, you're definitely not the person that you are walking in, and just coming back and into this world after being gone for 5 or more, even 2 years is a lot for people, because there's so much going on in that frame of time. No matter how long it is, just being in there for a year or more, it's like it's a lot for people to deal with, and let alone like 20 plus or more. It's that coming out, and I'm probably going to use the wrong term, but de-institutionalizing yourself to be a part of this world. But people understand that it's a process that you have to kind of figure it out. So your temperament, your mindset, and how you operate are a little bit different, because your mind is still there. You had people that been there for 12 years or more and you didn't open the door because they were waiting for somebody to buzz them out. Like this stuff that you like that's embedded into you, or like I said, something simple as eating food and how you eat to protect yourself because something may happen, or like he said, standing close to somebody to be that mentally prepared that something could go wrong.
Right.
Like
Right.
in that you can't. It's not like it's over. It's that gradually getting out of that mindset.
Yeah, and to your point, and also a point that he didn't get a chance to make, I'm sure he would have made it had we got to that point, that topic rather, is the, and I think I mentioned it a few times, that he's had his ups and downs, And what I meant by that too is the fact that it wasn't this smooth sail for him, right? Like he mentioned, going 18 years as a Muslim, it wasn't like the 18 years was like, oh, just straight up like this. Everything was just all hunky dory once he made that transition. And, once he just had that epiphany, it was like 20 years ago. And he was like, oh, I'm in jail. I need to get my life together. And everything was smooth sailing. No, he went, he had his ups. He had his literal downs. Like he said,
he mentioned the whole
suicide. He contemplated giving up. He contemplated so many negatives because there was so much. I mean, just the MDoc versus DTE story in terms of him trying to get that job that he was promised. That, I mean, it broke my heart because I was walking through him with the paperwork and all the other stuff that he needed to have done. And I was making contacts with these people. And I think it had to have been like April, either March or April of last year. He got out in September or October last year. In March or April, he had me working on this paperwork to get things going for his parole, for his release. And there was a packet and there was a certificate that was in the packet, all had to do with this job. So I knew he was working on getting this job. Everything was all lined up. And when I talked to the people that was on the outside, they were all like, oh yeah, everything's fine, everything's great, everything's going well. And it all looked great. Come 6 weeks later, after he gets COVID, almost died. He literally almost died. The brother almost died.
Oh, wow.
And then he watched a bunch of his friends die from COVID, as well as he got his parole hearings pushed back. He had the issue with his paperwork not being processed properly. Then he ended up getting new dates and all that kind of stuff. And then when everything seemed to be okay, we finally could take that sigh of relief and that breath of fresh air in like July or August. And you're like, okay, you got your release date. Everything looks good. And then he comes out and he tells me what happened with the job. I mean, I literally felt like giving up because I was just like, bro, like we did everything right. We did everything right. We made the right connections. I felt bad because I was like, did I not do something fast enough? And I'm thinking like, I know you were doing the right things. I know everything was, at least he wasn't telling me that anything was going wrong. He's like, it wasn't. Everything seemed to be okay. The people I talked to said, but it was just those barriers being put up in front of him. And when he told me what he did to still make that happen, because I wasn't keeping in touch with him the whole time, because like he said, he was moving fast because he was making sure things were happening. And I was like, I'm not about to get in his way. Call me when you need me. Let me know what you need. And he would do just that. He would only call me when he needed me. He would make his other connections, but he was taking and doing so many different things to get his situation in order on his own against all odds. Yeah. And when he told me that, I was just like, I was devastated because I was like, bro, like you, this job was supposed to change everything. And they're literally pulling a rug from under you.
Yeah.
But and when I talked to him later and he told me what he did, he ran through me that whole story about the persistence, the going after the guy. And I was just like, I mean, I had to take a step back and look at myself and say, damn, would I have done that? Would I have taken those additional steps? Would I had made the conscious decision to say, you know what? I don't care what kind of barriers you put up in front of me. I'm going to go through it. And I'm going to make this happen. Not that's the only job he could have ever gotten. Not that it was the end all to be all.
It was the job he wanted.
Exactly. It's what he wanted, and it's what he knew was going to make things work out in his plan, because he had his plan. The brother had the whole plan laid out. I mean, he had things planned out since 2 years ago.
That's why, one of the best things he said, and like everybody should apply this to their life, to their life, is, if somebody telling you to slow down, cool, drop them off.
You know what I mean? Open that car door, let them out.
Open that car door, let them out, and only hang around people that's going, keep up the speed, or even tell you to do more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I thought that was an important point he made. Yeah, that's an important point he made. You know what I mean? Because one thing, like we talked about some of us, a lot of it, and I've been victim of it too. complacency,
Mm-hmm.
comfortability.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? So he coming from an energy where he couldn't be complacent. Complacency wasn't an option.
Yeah.
Comfortability wasn't an option. You know what I mean? So, you know, people can learn from that energy. You know what I mean? People can learn from that energy, and you know, I think it was dope that he made that point that he didn't want to be around nobody that told him to slow him down, because I've had people, you know what I mean, close to me tell me, "Oh, you're doing too much."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Take a break, relax. And it's like, damn,
Right, relax.
I feel like, yeah, and your mind, you feel like I ain't doing enough.
Yeah.
That's my problem. Like, I feel like I ain't doing enough. And you telling me to slow down. So, you know, that can, and if you really value that person's opinion, that can set you back. Because you may really think, oh, maybe
But
I
you are
am
doing
doing
too
too
much.
much. You feel me? When
Well,
in reality, you was really right. Your intuition was right. I'm not doing enough. You feel me? I could be doing
perspective.
more. Perspective,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's because most people look at it like, man, is he ever going to relax? They see all the hard work you're doing. They're just like, I wonder if he's relaxing and enjoying the moment. I'm not trying to stake up for him. I'm just saying, playing devil's advocate. See the other side. Maybe they don't
Yeah.
see maybe your focus, your laser focus. You want to get this up and running.
Mm-hmm.
Ansar didn't have that choice. He needed to get more going for him because, as you heard the with the story Will just told about him not getting the job because it's just pulled from under his feet
Yeah.
for some
He could
reason.
have stuck. He could have
He
sat there, stuck and wallowed in it.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. It'd have been so
that's what.
easy.
Or
So
or even think about this. What could have been the worst thing could have happened to him? He could have got the job and got comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
complacent.
You feel me? And complacent.
yeah,
Oh,
Yep.
and then he might have not have been happy. You
right.
feel me? Because
He been
sometimes,
one of us.
yeah, sometimes the things we want, when we get it, we realize, oh, I
That's
didn't
not
want
really
this.
what we want.
Yeah,
And
I didn't
hey,
want
this is
this.
that bull. Every
Yeah.
day, this is that bull.
So,
I tell everybody,
you
I
know,
tell people that I know a lot of friends that did that as far as the job's concerned. They wanted more money and they end up getting a job that they did not want at all. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, but you were chasing the money. You didn't know where you were going. You didn't know the people you were working with. So now you're going through what you're going through because you wanted money and you don't even want to be there. Whereas where you were before, it's not being complacent. It's just being in the mindset of knowing sometimes you don't know where you're going, but just be mindful of where you're stepping into. Because, like you said, you may think you want it. It may be the money situation, and it may not work out for you because you were in the mindset of money and not realizing what like the job intel, the different stressors it's going to cause, and how it's going to affect you. And now you're stressed out and you're not getting stuff done, and you're falling short, and you're going to go back to where you were.
Right.
And
one
you don't
thing,
know your value, your own self worth. Because sometimes you sell out like this is the dream job. I get the 401k, I get benefits, yada yada yada. Job sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks your soul. You don't want to come home. You don't want to go to work. You're tired every morning. You know,
Yeah,
jobs like that you don't need.
yeah,
You
it's
need to find your self worth.
remember I forget what show it was, but I remember I had asked y'all, what was the opposite of war,
I
and
think it was a job during pandemic.
and the opposite of war, most people always say peace. You feel me? When in reality, the opposite of war, because war is destruction.
Mm-hmm.
The opposite was creation, being creative. You know what I mean? So he went he went through that, going through that 20 years was his war. You feel me? So now he on the other side of that, and instead of finding peace, slowing down, you know what I mean, getting comfortable and being complacent, he being creative.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? You know what I mean? He's building something,
Yeah.
and you know, and you'll find no, you know what I mean, no better satisfaction than creating something and see what you created and watch it prosper. You know what I
exactly.
mean?
Have you?
So
If you see his Facebook, you see he has some good content on his Facebook page. I've actually like, oh, this is pretty nice. I like what he's doing, what he's going with, what he's trying to
Mm-hmm.
create, as you saying. So,
Mm-hmm.
man, more props to him that he came out. I won't say unscathed. He is definitely scarred, but his scars can be a blessing for us to
Right. No doubt.
for set a light fire for us to do
Yeah,
better.
I liked it. It was a dope. I'm glad you did this because you feel me. More people. We tend to dismiss the brothers that been locked down.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And then when they come home and they had that energy, we tend to dismiss them. You feel me? And not really help them ingratiate themselves back into society. You feel me? We don't motivate them. We always expect the worst from them. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
good that
I
to
got
highlight the positive.
lucky. I got lucky to have some friends who, I mean, not lucky. I'm sorry, bad poor choice of words. But I had friends who ended up in that situation, but came out of it, you know, in a better mindset and was able to do something more positive, right? Between a friend of mine who went in for like 3 or 4 years, kind of to Sonny's point, it sometimes, I mean, it probably does matter a little bit, but it doesn't matter a lot. That it could be 3 years, it could be 1 year, it could be 20 years. There's scarring, there's pain, there's PTSD that's behind it all. But to your point, they, each one of them have come out with this new drive, this new energy, this new fire to say, one, I can't go back, but two, I also know that there's a path forward, and the motivation for me was the first couple of them that had went through that, coming out and creating businesses or creating opportunities for other people and themselves. And I'm like, wow, I think we just mentioned that earlier. It's like, wow, you had this hurdle put in front of you or this wall put in front of you, and you just jumped right over it. And not that they jumped right over it, they climbed it, they dealt with it, they got all the scars from it, but they still made the climb. They didn't get comfortable. They didn't let the hurdles, keep them down, and they pushed through. And so when he was in his situation, of course, he's one of the only ones that had gone that long that I knew in the system. I knew that he could still be successful. He could still, and then to hear him, or not hear him because we didn't talk a lot on the phone, but in the letters that he wrote and the responses that he gave me, I knew that he was on the right track to continue to do the same thing and that he had that in him. So I was, I like you said, being able to be one of those people who was trying to support that fire, support that drive. And luckily for him, he had a good support system between friends and family, even people that were inside that came out already, things like that. So he was also lucky in that regard, definitely blessed to have been touched by so many people that loved him and wanted to still support him. But then, it was all down to him, and he did that. He did amazing, like you said, just the awe and amazement of knowing that somebody could go through something like that and still come out of this and say, you know what, I know a path forward is there.
Yeah.
I
think that's a good way to end that conversation.
Yeah, it's been, as always, another great show. Appreciate y'all. Back to what y'all were saying earlier. Thursday night, we're looking forward to the premiere episode of the fans' perspective.
Yes, sir.
That guy.
And
that's that guy.
Looking forward to, so we're going to preempt the StylesRadio.com, the Styles Radio takeover, and have the fans' perspective. If they finish early, I might still do a show afterwards, but I'll definitely be on to help out as well as to offer my uneducated opinions as well.
I think Willie got distracted on my show.
I got a strike.
Well, yeah,
No,
I want to know what church you go to myself.
Oh, I got distracted. Yeah. Sonny's show.
He's like, yeah, I'm bringing the way. I'm like, where you at? You gonna quit?
Yeah, Sonny did the Sex with Sonny show, and unfortunately, I was eating breakfast but having margaritas at the same time, and so
he was lit.
I was a mess. But I you gotta admit, I was keeping up with you ladies, had the time going and everything. So
yeah,
I got it together. So I'll be
Did you Google the church
on Thursday night?
Did you Google the church?
Google
That's
the
all I
church?
want to know.
No.
You said what?
I need you to send me the address to that church.
I know,
No.
right, church, right. I was like, so what's up with this church? So
He said, "What church did y'all go to?" Like, nah, bro.
That's all I kept thinking about. I'm like, damn, they keep.
I gotta meet some people. Wait, is Jasmine? Wait. Make sure Jasmine ain't watching this.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oops.
But yeah, we're going to have a fan's perspective of yet another opportunity for GFT Network to grow. And, we're going to be looking forward to Dame and Smooth. So in doing that, I also want to give a official welcome, congrats to Dane for becoming an official co-host of GFT Radio Show.
Yes.
Me?
Have earned your stripes. He's been with us for, I think, just over a year, and a guest.
A year? A year?
Yeah.
I've been calling in since the Blog Talk Dog Radio.
Blog Talk Radio.
But no, I mean, no, in terms of like every week you've been
every
here.
Week, yeah.
Oh,
over a year. Yeah.
I gotta get some new friends.
Being on the show, being, you know what I mean, and as well as being an integral part of the development of the GFT. What is it called? Join the Conversation group on Facebook. Make sure y'all get over there and check out GFT Join the Conversation. We were joking about how the fact that we realized it got a little quiet over there over the last week, and then you called me yesterday and was like, "Yeah, I was feeling sick," and I was thinking like, that must have been it.
Yeah, sinus infection killed me, man.
Right.
I got 2 days off, so I'm gonna probably not rest because I got kids. So,
right.
But yeah,
no rest for the weary. But definitely appreciate all you do, brother, and looking forward to you growing with us as well as we grow this channel and grow this brand. And as always, shout out to Sonny for creating this and giving us all a home to do.
Thank you all for joining me in all my craziness, because
yes, indeed,
I get cussed out by some people every so often, and they still love me, so I'm still here. But y'all still here, and y'all still love me, so it's all love.
Right. So
I'm just here for the cookies.
We're going to go ahead and wrap up the show, and we will definitely start with our queen. Let her do her thing.
All right, guys. So it's your girl Sunny D. And you can find me at I am Sunny _D. Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and TikTok. Today I had fun on TikTok, so y'all gotta definitely check out my TikTok. I was on there acting like a goddamn fool, but I did it. But also go to my website, unreservedlyme.com, and catch me 2 Saturdays a month at 2 p.m. on Sex with Sunny.
No doubt.
Y'all already know who it is. It's your boy Smooth. You can catch me on my blog at akingstruth.com, Twitter at eTrentonGroomy, and Snapchat akingstruth. I'll be on that a little bit more. And I just wanted to before I go, I just wanted to say, I mean, I just don't want to. I want people to. I want Ansar is his name, right? Ansar. I want to make sure I say his name right. I just want him to know, if he ever, get down or feel like, things, because sometimes when things don't work out, you feel me, the brothers get down. Just he dropped the jewel tonight on me, and I appreciate that. I don't even know if he realized it, and I had already brought it up about the if they telling you to slow down, stop the car and let them out. You feel me? That's a jewel right there. I'm gonna take that with me. Indeed. And that's for real.
Indeed.
It's me. You can find me on Agent Shinlo on Xbox and PlayStation Network. Another Level Up on IG. And thanks for having me.
And as always, it's your boy Willie Styles in the building. You can catch me at Willie Styles everywhere, IG, Twitter, and TikTok. You can get at me at Willie.Styles on Snapchat. I still don't post on there. And you can get at me on stylesradio.com. Listen to all my hot tracks that I've been listening to. As y'all know, your boy Drake just dropped a new album. there was a couple other great tracks that just released, and now I just drew a blank. But make sure y'all go check all that out. It's all on my stylesradio.com page. And then get at me on williestyles.info for all my links. I did just fix that website. I didn't know that it was down, but I just fixed it. So if you need any of my other links, williestyles.info, or hit the link in my bio. Go check out my OnlyFans. So,
Lord.
My first and last night on the show.
Appreciate everybody for joining us. We will definitely see you guys on Thursday. I don't know if we can still keep saying that, Smooth, because
man,
yeah. As far as this show goes, see y'all 7 days.
Yeah. 7.
Yeah, as far as this show, the main show, 7 days. We about to branch out. We branching out.
Yeah, content.
GFT Radio is taking over the internet.
Content.
And do it, baby.
Sonny broke the internet, y'all. Sonny broke the internet, y'all. Sonny broke the internet. Yeah.
Content.
Yeah, put that on shirt. Content. Oh, I got you.
No, Sonny broke the radio.
Oh. I ain't breaking no radio. What radio I broke?
You broke the internet. I'm sorry.
Hey guys, it's your girl Sunny D, 1/3 of the podcast GFT Radio Show.
What up, though? It's your boy Willie Styles from the GFT Radio Show. Just letting you know you can catch us every Monday night, 10 p.m. Eastern.
And to get some merch, I got some on right now. Go to teesprings.com/stores/GFT Radio.
Grown Folk Talk Radio. Join the conversation. Let's have some fun. Holla.